Good morning. Again, I forget where I'm looking here. Okay, there's my camera. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I have a little time before my clients start for the day, so I thought we would do a brief reading and tap into what energies are up for contemplation and what is going to be spoken. Who knows? So let's see. I'm using a different deck than I have used lately. I'm trying to figure out, I can't remember what this is called, but it's beautiful. I love the artwork. So here we go. The Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Wands. I'm laughing because, and I kind of shared this in the last reading, if you saw it, you'll remember that in the beginning, like when I sit down to do a reading, before I hit record, this feels like I'm squished, but I don't know how else to do this. That's okay. I clear out, I sort of try to have my ego self, all my thoughts quiet down, all that step aside. And then a lot of times I'll just feel the deck, whatever I'm going to start with. And then sometimes something says, nope, go with a different deck. But this time what I picked up was what I stuck with. And I'll get a sense, I don't know why, sometimes I'll get a sense of the suit, like what element will be primary in the reading today, like, wands, swords, pentacles, or cups, that sort of thing, or a certain specific card will flash in my mind. Even if it's not from this deck, it might be the artwork from a different deck. I don't know what's going to happen, but images will come, usually. This morning's image all it said was pentacles. And I got a lot of browns, probably because the pentacles in this deck are full of beautiful browns and tans and like very autumny colors, which is fitting right now here at the beginning of November. So everything kept saying pentacles, and it didn't really hone in on the specific one, except one of them, there was a feeling of a pregnant woman with the pentacles. And what's funny about that is what popped up here is the Queen of Wands, and she's not necessarily pregnant, but she's holding like this ball. It almost looks like from afar she's holding her pregnant belly. And oftentimes the Queen of Pentacles is associated with motherhood. So I found that's why I laughed at the beginning, because a specific number wasn't coming through, but this image of like a pregnant woman, and then I'm like, okay, but that's usually like the Empress, that really signifies birthing something into the world. The Queen of Pentacles it's really, a lot of people call it the mother of card of tarot. So not necessarily fertility like the Empress, but signifying like nurturing something into fruition. Okay, so I'm getting all the chills on what those words just came out of my mouth. So maybe that has something to do with you. Like, are you in a state of attempting to nurture something to what it could really be the fullest expression of the thing? Or is something urging you to do that, where maybe up to this point you've been sort of flighty about something, maybe not putting all efforts into the nurturing process? Who knows? That's for you to know, not for me to know, but it could be what this reading's about. So challenged by the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is like, threes are about harmony. And to me, and then the wands are about like the inspiration, like that fire of inspiration energy, or some people say spirit energy, like it's almost like an elevated kind of burning bright, inspired energy. And the Three of Wands is one of looking out at your life, perhaps, and saying like, I have a lot of options. I have a lot of options. I have a lot of hobbies. I have a lot of interests, whatever that is for you. I have a lot of something that might be pulling my interest or attention in these various ways and directions. Yet I kind of have one in mind that I'm probably just even a little bit more interested in seeing it come to life than the others. So to me, it feels like, and I'm getting all the chills again when I'm thinking, so maybe this is resonating for someone out there. This idea of, I know I really want to go for this thing. Do I have this ability, because we all do, but what's getting in the way, this ability to nurture that thing to its fullest expression, to fruition, birth it into the world and let the thing grow up with me by its side. It could be a literal human child, but I don't think so. It's a metaphor for what is burning bright within you that you want to have it burn bright for others to see, and that you are there to keep the fire burning every step of the way so that you can discover what the fullest expression of the thing is. You don't even have to know what it's going to look like, but just, do you have the fire to keep the thing going? And this, I'm just all the chills. I love the imagery with this particular deck with that metaphor, because they're juggling fire, and it's like keeping the fire up in the air is to keep it burning. If you let those fiery wands fall, the flame will go out, right? So it's like, do you have that momentum to keep? It's not like they're asking you to spin a lot of plates, like keep a lot of things going, but do you have the desire and the oomph and the motivation, whatever that is, to keep the fires burning so that you can see what might happen? Like, it's not even knowing what's going to happen, because like, let's take this as a kid metaphor. When you birth a kid, first of all, you have no idea how it's going to turn out 18 years later, right, into adulthood. No idea. All you can do in parenting is keep the fire burning and walk alongside them and support them every step of the way, so that they and you alongside them, you're discovering what their expression is, what their fullest expression is at each moment. And then getting into this mythical place called adulthood, it's like, oh my God, I would have never imagined that they would have turned into this beautiful human expression of what was once just a little egg. So we never know how things are going to turn out. And maybe this reading, because it's saying, I don't know, will ask us to set aside all expectations of what this thing will look like. And maybe that's the freedom that you need to keep walking alongside it with that fire burning. The freedom of, lack of expectation. Okay, let's take a drink of tea while we think about what cards we'll use for the deeper dive. Okay, we're going to use the classics. That is hot. Woo! Okay, what time is it? Okay, I have a little bit of time. Let's just get some nuance. Wide open landscape. I'm going to just set the question of, because this could be literally about anything. That's for you to know. But what I'm curious about is, like, what flavor of a journey is this? What are we really dealing with here? Maybe not in the specific circumstances or situations, because that's different for each of us, but like, what lens are we looking through here? What's coloring this journey? Okay. have the King of Swords. It is what we talked about, I think. Let's see. Page of Pentacles. Yep. Ace of Pentacles. Did we not say that this was all going to be very pentacle heavy? That's what came in. I just love when that happens. It's like, thank you, universe. Right away. So if we think about this, for some reason, okay. Something told me to pull the bottom card. I don't always, but something said, don't move on until you pull the bottom card. Guess what it is? Don't you love this? Don't you love life in the way that I didn't know? We were talking about the Empress and fertility and birthing, and then we changed decks, and here she is, like, hiding after the shuffling at the bottom of the deck saying, let me out. So let's just say, because usually when I pull from the bottom of the deck, I'm getting all the chills. This really is about birthing something into the world. Okay, so that's what this is all about. The birthing. And what she is really beautiful for is the way she manifests, the way she will birth, like the way things come about with her. And she's the divine feminine, which is all about allowing and receiving. That's how she makes rape happen. That's how she works her magic in the world. She can't, however she's inspired, like with her intuitive path. Like she's so flowy. Okay, so she's going to do what she feels. She sets her intention and sits back and receives. And she doesn't have, she's all about not having expectations on the outcome, because the divine feminine is like, I'm going to allow and I'm going to flow and I'm going to receive all the riches. So that's just funny. She came up. So not only do we have the Queen of Pentacles, we have the Empress. This is really seeming to be about everything we've talked about with what is in us that wants to be birthed. Birthing to me means like this thing never existed before. Like not in you might think, oh, people have done it and this way and that way, but the way you birth something with your special sauce is different than it's ever looked coming from anybody else. So it is a unique thing, whatever this is. So give it that credit, right? Give yourself the confidence in that it's like, wait a minute, I have my own special sauce, my own weird way of doing things, whatever that is for you. Honor it. So then we have the King of Swords. Is the reason I laughed when I pulled him out is because he's kind of the epitome to me of, oh, I know exactly how this is supposed to look. Right? Because he's the divine masculine. I have an idea in mind and I'm going to exert effort, not allowing like the Empress. I'm going to exert my effort, which can be, there's pros and cons to everything. Exert my effort to make this thing come into being in the way that I know I want it to look. Like I'm very clear, I'm very decisive, I'm very confident. So those are all great qualities to have at certain points in life, right? To me, I think, except for when something's calling me to take the step forward in the birthing process and then get out of the way to let my little creation grow into what it's meant to grow into without any expectation, like no rigidity. So the parts that this is calling for us to really be aware of is any sense of rigidity or expectation that whatever I'm thinking of doing in the world is supposed to look a certain way. And that's hard because we might conceptually say, okay, yes, okay, I got it. And then that's still working inside of us a lot of times. Like it's so subtle. So watch for the subtle, the nuance in how that expectation presents itself, because it is a slippery little sucker. It really is. Okay. The Page of Pentacles, maybe the way to look out for that is playfulness. the page has a youthful curiosity about them. I'm getting all the chills again. So youthfulness, playfulness, curiosity is the antidote. Let's talk about antidotes. It just means opposite energy that will like loosen a grip something has, right? Antidote to this guy really is this guy. Because swords, remember, they're all about mind, thinking, comparison, judgment, expectation. This is all about grounded curiosity, like something new, like they're a messenger, right? That there's a new path forming, like presenting itself. The only way to start and to continue going down that path in this story is youthful, playful, joyful curiosity about what you're about to discover. We talked about discovery right at the outset. Okay, so that's what is being called for here. What's funny is you get the Ace of Pentacles right alongside the page. And to me, these are they have a similar, it's almost like a double confirmation of what this is about, because this is like, hey, the universe is handing you a fresh start, right? So to me, I want to say this time, handing you the perspective of a fresh start. It doesn't have to look like even anything in your life has looked up to this point. Even if you're trying the same thing again, it's not the same thing, is it? Because it's happening now. And you are basically a completely different person now. Even if we take it into the body and science, you probably don't have even 50% of the cells you had the first time around, right? You regenerate, like your body regenerate. What is it? Every 7 years, you're like a completely different human. Isn't that weird? I could be totally wrong on that number. But I'm like, so what was I, 7 years ago, I didn't, like none of this was here. Some of my tattoos, that might be the exception, because there are certain cells that, like in our immune system, that surround the tattoo. This is what I learned in my anatomy class from this teacher she has these weird facts. I love her so much. She said that the only reason you can thank your immune system for keeping your tattoos from bleeding out and leaving your body, because the immune cells are like, foreign invader, surround it so it can't infiltrate the rest of the body. And I wish I could remember what those cells are, but we can thank those cells for the beauty of our tattoos lasting as long as they do. So all that, it's all except for our tattoos. We are a completely different person. So anyway, sometimes I like to ground it in pseudoscience, meaning I pseudo know what I'm talking about, probably because I heard it somewhere once, and then I probably obscured it by a lot. And you scientists out there are real mad at me, like, she did it again. So anyway, the Ace of Pentacles alongside the Page of Pentacles, there's the how about we go through this journey of birthing and keeping the fire lit is through youthful, joyful curiosity every step of the way. And that's a choice. It really is. It's a choice. I'm just going to leave it at that. And you can let people fight with you about that. Because sometimes when you tell people, it's a choice. And that feels really like an attack on their ability to make that choice. And that's not meant to be an attack on anybody's ability to feel like they can choose something, versus like life is just happening to them and they have no choice, right? It depends what dimension you're with anything. It depends what dimension your realization is at and what lens you're ready to look through. Okay. But if you still need to be in that life's just happening, there might be a lesson in there for us, right? When life's just happening and it's hard and what people call the victim mentality, meaning I'm a recipient of all the bad stuff that's happening. Well, there's probably a lesson in there. But aside from that, there's choice. There's agency. There, until there's a dimension later on that says there's no agency. What's happening is happening, and there's no control whatsoever. Control's an illusion, right? So I read something in the Course in Miracles this morning that seems relevant. It's so fun to think about this. The way we move through things in life. Ooh, I better get going. It's necessary until it's no longer necessary, right? That's with anything in life. Like it's the the path you like. Oh God, I have to take this detour because there's something I've got to go through and learn. And then when I come back to my path, it's like I see. Wait a minute, I didn't need to do that at all, right? But you did, but you didn't, but you, right? It's so hard to talk about this stuff till you've lived it. So I hope you've lived some amount of that and it resonates with you, because like it's almost like setting down the raft again. It's a different version of like, I need to get across this river. Here's a raft. I'm going to use it to get across the river. But you don't need to keep carrying the raft once you're back on land, right? You can set it down and go. It's a slightly different version, maybe not a great metaphor, but this, like, it's like the bare minimum energy needed on this journey. And what that is, like, don't apply more efforting, more selfing than is necessary. This is about joyful curiosity. That's all that's required. The universe says, this is a fresh start, and that's the way to go about it, is drop the old raft. You don't have to carry that old raft anymore. Now you're just like joyful discovery, youthful. I say youthful because there's like the thought that in youth you don't have all this baggage to influence, like all the past that influences our present. In youth you're just constantly in the moment. And that's what I mean by that. So let's just get a couple more. I think I have a couple more minutes. Okay. Let's just see. Let's just put a bow on this. Is there anything else for us? I think we've got some about the pitfalls, the rigidity, being overly confident or just overly stuck in one viewpoint. Like maybe I'll ask, how do we break open from, man, I am so logical and this is how rigid. How do we break that rigidity into youthful curiosity? Is there anything to know, like any subtle little nuance, any little nugget that can help with that? We have the Four of Cups, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles again. Okay. This is something here is about the planting seeds. And maybe that's the perspective to take, is like when you think about how something's supposed to look, right? You have this, for who cares where it came from? You have some idea about how something needs to pan out. But when we flip that script and say, hey, I'm just planting seeds here, right? Like treat everything as a seed. Every baby step you take as a seed, not even as a firm step on a set path, not even as a to-do on your to-do list. Just say, I'm just planting a seed. And then, I'm going to water that a little bit. Like treat it as something living that's actually, it's like alchemy in action. I don't even know if that makes sense. The Four of Cups also says there's something about being aware of apathy, being aware, like looking, it's almost like not as, I want to say gratitude. So I'll just cut to the chase. Gratitude and planting seeds are the nuance we were looking for. How to shift from rigid, expected, I know what this is going to be, into youthful curiosity, where I'm just like letting go of expectation. So gratitude, planting seeds. And then what happens is there's also something about continuing to do that. There's like a continuity of action that's being called for, not big bang efforts. Okay, so that's the nuance. Gratitude, continuity of effort of planting those little seeds and watering them. I know it's not sexy. It's not big bang. But you know what? Those same feelings of elation can come in, those high peak moments we seek oftentimes, the dopamine hits, whatever you want to call it, of big bang efforts and immediate instant gratification from that. I feel like there's a richer satisfaction in the planting seeds, continuity of effort, and gratitude story. I just feel like there's something more fundamentally true to our human experience with that, right? In modern culture, guess what gets the attention? Big bang efforts, explosive action, But what do we really value? The other thing we just said. So that's where the juice is. All right. I think that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck with whatever you're birthing. I hope it goes smoothly and that you can see your little thing grow up into whatever it's going to be. Just stay curious. Bye.